This is Wednesday, January 20th's math lesson. Today, our objective is I can use number lines to represent equivalent fractions. Yesterday, we practiced finding fractions equivalent or equal to one another by using fraction strips as a tool. Today, we're going to use a different tool to help us identify equivalent fractions. So today we're going to use a number line to help us identify these equivalent fractions. We've already learned previously how to place fractions on a number line, so this first step is going to be review. First, I'm going to fill in these missing fractions on both number lines. On the top, I see that this dash right here is placed with 2/3, so that must mean that the missing fraction is 1/3. Then down below, I see that my dashes are split into sixths. So I have 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6. So that must mean the missing fraction here is 5/6. The next step is that we need to find fractions that are placed in the same spot on the number line. Just as we did with the fraction strips, we're going to find these fractions on the number lines that are placed in the same spot. So first we have 1/3 and 2/6. I also see another set of fractions that are equivalent to each other, 2/3 and 4/6. These are equivalent because they are in the exact same place on the number line. Even though they have different denominators, they are equal or equivalent. They take up the same space on the number line. And if you think about it as food as well, if I say that I ate 1/3 of a pizza, that would be the same thing as saying I ate 2/6 of the pizza. Okay, same instructions with this next slide. Fill in the missing fractions first. Then I need to circle the fractions that are equivalent. So I see here on the top, my missing fraction is 2/3. Down below, it looks like my fractions are split into ninths. So my missing fraction below is 8/9. Finally, my next step is to identify which fractions are in the same place on both the top and the bottom number line. The first one that I see is 1/3 and 3/9. These are equivalent because they are in the exact same spot on the number line. And I also see one more pair of equivalent fractions here. We have 2/3 and 6/9. Those are also equal because they are on the same spot on both number lines. Let's try another one. First step is to fill in the missing fractions. On top, I have 1/4 and 3/4, so that must mean that 2/4 goes in between them. On bottom, my fractions are split into eighths. It looks like my missing fraction here is 7/8. Next, I need to identify which fractions are equivalent, which fractions are in the same spot on the number line. Here I see 1/4 and 2/8 are in the same spot on the number line. Next, I see 2/4 and 4/8, same spot on both number lines. And then finally, I see 3/4 and 6/8. So this time I had 3 pairs of equivalent fractions here. We'll try one more together, and then it will be time for your independent work. Same instructions. First step is to fill in the missing fractions. On the top number line here, I only have one line in between 0 and 1, and it's exactly halfway in between 0 and 1. So that must mean that that fraction is 1/2. Down below, my fractions are split into fourths. I have 2/4 and 3/4, so that must mean that my first fraction here is 1/4. Finally, I need to identify which fractions are equivalent or which fractions are in the exact same spot on the number line. And here I only have one pair of equivalent fractions, 1/2 and 2/4. Like I said, your exit ticket will be on Edulastic. If you need any help with anything math related, I will be on WebEx at 3 o'clock for any assistance that you may need with this particular lesson.